Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Flawless Fantasy Football. Today is January 27th, one day before the conference championship games to see who goes to the Super Bowl. Today is Saturday. The conference games are on Sunday. I wanted to make sure I got this video out to make sure I had this on black and white, behind the camera, before the games pop off. So listen, first off, I want to thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you, for watching the video. If you get any type of substance out of this video, consider pressing like and subscribing to the platform. Listen, at the end of the day, guys, this is a fantasy football platform. And even though it's a fantasy football platform, some people will ask me, Sir Flawless, hey Flawless, how can you run a fantasy football platform if you believe that NFL is rigged and everything's staged? Because one doesn't have to do with the other. That's why. Stop. Let me address the elephant in the room real quick. I look like an elephant with this big gray freaking shirt on. Look, you see the San Francisco on my shirt. Okay, listen, guys. I became a San Francisco fan probably like 7, 8 years old. Okay? And at the end of the day, it's like with anything. If you've done something for decades and decades and decades and it resonates in you, in your spirit, and in your soul, it's hard to break away from. I'm going to tell you a quick little story real quick. Back when I was 22 years old, I worked in a government job, and this one guy, this one guy told me he had worked at the job. I was just young. I wasn't making no money either. And the guy was like, he told me that I was excited because it was back when, I believe it was when Terrell Owens had caught, the catch too, and over Green Bay, when he was all crying and stuff, right? One guy, I was happy, right? I was so happy about it. I didn't see it though, because I was at work. One guy, and he told me about it. And I was like, oh yeah, my Niners gonna do this, my Niners gonna do that. And I remember this taller, distinct gentleman, taller, white, distinct gentleman. I can still see him. I can still see his profile and his whole face. Dude, that dude was awesome, man. I forget his name. It's been so long ago. He was like, he pulled me to the side and said, listen, I don't want you to get defense to this, but, the NFL, it's rigged. All that stuff is scripted. And, man, me being 22 years old, man, you don't know what you talking about, man. I'm all in my feelings, right? Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you delirious. All that type of stuff. Here I'm 22 years old, think I knew something, right? So he's like, listen, just do me a favor. He's like, I'm not saying it's going to change overnight. Mind you, this was like 99, somewhere up in there, right? 99, 2000. And he was like, just listen, just look. I think it's like 99. And he was like, just listen. Just start paying attention. Just pay attention and see what makes sense for the NFL, So I'm still, oh, you know what you're talking about, oh, man, that type of thing, I can only imagine. I hate to be a fly on the wall looking back at my younger self, I see how these dudes act now. And but basically, it didn't really start until a couple years after that, until maybe the New England Patriots, when, after 9/11, maybe a year or two after that, or when their owner stood up and held up the trophy, like, we are all Patriots. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's kind of side-eyed that, right? So I'm like, okay, but then things start happening, more stuff happening. Ray Lewis stuff and all this type of stuff. I'm like, what makes sense for the NFL? And now it's just full-blown, like, I don't have to look to see stuff, like, with the day and age with technology now, they can't hide it anymore. Back then they could hide it. We had pagers and stuff like that. Man, with the way social media is now, you can't hide it, homie. You can't hide it. Somebody's going to see it. So so one thing doesn't have to do with the other. Because at the end of the day, there's production for wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. And that, as a fantasy football content creator, is what I'm anticipating or trying to accurately choose or predict, per se. So, but people get so triggered. Oh, this and that. Why don't you just stop? Why don't you just stop watching? It makes no sense since you don't believe. To those a-holes, right? Oh, look. I don't want to get too personal here, right? I've been married before, but I'm not going to ever get married again because I don't think it's necessary for me to be happy or a woman that I'm with to be happy. So I'm not in the business of bringing that to the table anymore and messing up what we have. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So people say, well, you should just stop watching if you don't believe it. You know, the ones that are triggered to get mad, right? So I was like, okay, well, if I take that same concept and apply it to, let's say, women per se. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, so because I don't want to get married again, I should stop dealing with women and stop, enjoying women or enjoying a woman's company or a girl's company or whatever this thing. It makes us to stop having sex. It makes no sense. No, it's just know what you're dealing with and move accordingly. It's just that simple, I'm going to tell you another reason why I know, it's countless reasons why I know the NFL is rigged, but another reason, it's simply because people are so triggered, the believers, the fanboys, they're so triggered whenever you say something's fake. You can just be like, hey, watch this video. They'd be like, oh, I'm not watching that. I'm not. Oh, so you can't even watch it. Don't get mad at me because the referee's sitting up here whispering to a guy, hey, put your helmet back on. Why the hell is he telling him? Or the new recent one came out by the older video where the ref is literally knocking the ball out of the guy's hand that got a fumble recovery. Listen, I didn't make him do that, so don't get butt hurt with me, But I understand it's almost like religion or politics or something with these people. Like, no, you're not going to mess up my beloved NFL. I'm just showing you what it is, okay? And then they get so mad and they'll name call and throw ad hominems around and well, you're just a tinfoil hat wearing, you're conspiracy theorist. I'm like, is that all you got? Was that your comeback? Is that your comeback? Oh man, I thought you would have came better than that, because that don't offend me. Okay, all right. That's basically when somebody tell me I'm tinfoil hat or I'm a conspiracy theorist. If you're just telling me, it's like, oh well, I'm upset with you because I don't have the ability to think outside the box or actually think for myself because I need to be told how to live in life. That's what it tells me, and I actually kind of feel sorry for you. So it doesn't make me feel bad. So having said all that, guys, look, because I can go on and on about that. A hit dog gonna holler. A hit dog is gonna holler. I mean, if you tell somebody the NFL is fake, boom, barking like freaking little mutt. But yet they can call us all type of names, and we're just like, all right, man, that's how you feel anyway. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. That's one reason, also the reason I know. But anyway, guys, look, we got Baltimore versus Kansas City. We got Detroit versus San Francisco. All right, listen. Before we get into it, before I give you the pros and cons for each team, I want to let you know that I've told people on my channel countless times, and they can attest to this. I'll probably make a YouTube short about this later tonight so we can move around too. But I've always felt that once CMC came to San Francisco, I said, oh, they're going to make sure San Francisco win the Super Bowl. Listen, I'm not in the business saying, oh, the San Francisco win the Super Bowl because, they're the best team in the country. No. Because guess what? If they wanted to push a narrative for Cleveland to win the Super Bowl, they could easily make that happen. And people would just be like, oh, man, Cleveland really picked it up. Oh, man, Joe Flacco came in and he just set it on fire. Who knew he had it? Right? But at the end of the day, it would just be, they're professionals. They're professionals. They've been doing it. These football players, I ask people often, if they would offer you a $10 million contract per year to play football, but you got to sign this clause and you have to do what they're told. So if you have to drop a pass, if you have to only rush for a certain amount of yards, or if you have to fumble, but you couldn't tell anybody, or else they can sue you, defame you, say just take everything away from you and sue you sue you like crazy. And you can't tell anybody. Would you do it? You know what every single one of them said? Hell yeah, I do it. Hell yeah, whatever they want me to do. So my thing is like, wait a minute. See how emphatically you answered that? If you do it, what would make you think a person that was damn near born with that gift to do that they wouldn't do it? Mind you, they're feeding their family. They take care of themselves. They're feeding their family and friends and structure. Got to have all these businesses going. What make you think they're going to compromise that just to be like, you know, guys, I got to tell you, it's not. Of course, you're going to have some outliers. You got Ben Cunningham. You got Jerry Rice and Tim Brown telling you. You got countless people. But nobody wants to listen to them. The fanboys don't want to listen to them. Let's get into it. But before we get into why my key case for and against each one of these teams, let's take a quick word from our sponsor. Hello, everyone. Not only am I a fantasy football content creator, but even more importantly than that, I am a passionate father's rights advocate. Here at Flawless Fatherhood, where I created a platform on YouTube to where I'm sharing my wisdom on how, through an unfortunate divorce, I was able to use tactics to be able to secure my children, my two sons, my oldest two sons, through a marriage, and they were able to live with me, vice the system taking them away from me and letting their mom raise them. Also, my youngest son, I have a 50-50 shared timeshare, physical timeshare, week-to-week timeshare with his mom. So again, even through a divorce, unfortunate divorce, and an unfortunate breakup, I was able to secure my time more or less than the mother. I want to be able to share my wisdom with the countless men out there. I hope you guys understand there's a fatherless epidemic out there, single mother epidemic, where the system benefits off child support and mothers alienating the fathers away from the children away from the father. I want to be able to help that. So listen, if that applies to you or anyone that you know and love, you'll be able to learn strategies in how to make sure that fathers that are married, unmarried, or fathers, what they need to do. The system don't teach us men how to behave and how to maneuver so we can step on pitfalls and be statistics in this country. But I can help with that, and that is the purpose of Flawless Fatherhood. So consider subscribing to Flawless Fatherhood for you or someone you love, and have them subscribe as well. I'm in the business of changing this fatherless society that we have in this world. I hope to see you there, Flawless Fatherhood. Okay, and we're back. All right, hey, check it out, guys. That Flawless Fatherhood platform, I am way more passionate about father's rights than I am about fantasy football. Listen, I was married in 2006 and divorced. I was married in 96 and divorced in 2006, high school sweetheart. Everything sweet, had two boys, and through marriage, got a divorce. You know, get married at 19, and that don't work. Don't get married young. It's stupid. We got to stop and get out of that. But anyway, that neither here or there, married for 10 years. And I made sure that I positioned myself to where just because we were getting a divorce, that she wasn't able to use her femininity against me and, you know, be able to take our children and she lived with them, you know, and I wouldn't be able to be a sound father in their lives. I learned a lot of things. I don't want to say through trial and error. And I want to be able to share that with the world. So that's why I made that platform, Flawless Fatherhood. It's a fairly new platform, and I just felt like I didn't want to get buried with the wisdom that I have. I want to be able to help fathers. Fathers, if you're a new and expecting father, or if you're a father that's already married, whether if you're married or not married, to how to secure your children and make sure you don't lose a sound position in your kids' lives due to an unfortunate divorce or breakup. This is serious business. So many people say, oh, what's the most important thing to you? People say it real quick, oh, my children, my children. But yet we've been programmed to chase money, to chase girls, and all this type of stuff. But really, our kids are the most important thing. If you have possession of your kids and be able to raise your son and daughter, even if you're not together and have an equal timeshare, man, that's worth the price of freaking gold and platinum at its peak. That is true wealth. That is the purpose of Flawless Fatherhood. So make sure you check that out. I'll give you some good information on how to, even, you know, to how to maintain possession of your kids' lives, and make sure you put them first, and actually give you good tips on how to create a plan to get them back if you don't currently have them. Subscribe to Flawless Fatherhood. That is my passion. Let's get to it. All right, back a couple years ago, I made a video. Is the NFL rigged? I'm gonna tell you something. That video blew the hell up, man. That video had like 35,000 views. I'm like, oh man, what the hell is snapping? you know what I'm saying, they're checking it out. I had a lot of positive kickback from that video. And in that video, like I said, it had over 1,000 comments. I was actually speaking on how at that point in time, it was the upcoming Super Bowl. It was the Rams and Cincinnati. And actually, I was explaining to them, I was telling them even before that, within that video before, I was explaining about how I knew San Francisco was going to lose. And that how Rams is going to go to the Super Bowl and win, okay? But, yeah, because that was in the conference championship game. And I'm going to be honest with you, San Francisco was winning against the Rams, and I was more concerned about being wrong than San Francisco winning. When San Francisco was winning like a third, I was like, granted, fair, but I was like, man, I told so many people and put it out there on the internet that I believe that San Francisco will win. So, not to say that, people don't be wrong, but I didn't want to be wrong. And I can't make San Francisco run plays. I can't make them throw it to Kittle. I can't. So, it's my team. It ain't your freaking team. Just say you pull for it. But anyway, I understand. Let's get to it. So, I actually outlined a clear distinction in how the NFL was running the same plan that they did the previous year with Tampa Bay and Kansas City, with Tampa Bay to win over Kansas City in Super Bowl 55. Remember, Tampa Bay beat Kansas City 31-9. It's pretty much over at halftime, right? That thing was already over. You already knew what time of day it was. And Rams defeated Cincinnati in quote-unquote dramatic fashion in Super Bowl 56, 23-20. Now, this is what I said. This is what happened. I outlined that I did my research, and I'm show it on the screen where that Tampa Bay and the Rams basically is the same thing happened. Okay, Tampa Bay won, but Rams, the powers that be, I'm not gonna say the Rams did, the powers that be made sure that the Rams ran the same outline. They followed the same scheme as they did the previous year. And I named it as I listed it as such. Bucks went out, got rid of Jameis Winston, and brought in Tom Brady. Okay? Just like the Rams went and got rid of Jared Goff and picked up and brought Stafford in. The second one was the Bucks went and got Antonio Brown, middle of the season, right? Along with everything else they already had, like Gronk and and Evans and other old boy over there, Godwin. Like they had a shortage of weapons, but brought Antonio Brown in, just like the Rams brought in Odell Beckham Jr. in the middle of the season. Same difference. And the teams actually played at the stadium, their home stadium. Tampa Bay was playing at Raymond James, and at that coming Super Bowl, the Super Bowl is going to be at SoFi Stadium for the Rams. So I'm like, man, look, this is lining up exactly the same as the previous year. But, and I get it. And I ran into a lot of guys that was up on the gematria and stuff like that. And they was like, oh, no, it's the year of the Bengals. I'm like, listen, Rams are going to beat the Bengals. And I get it. People believe what they believe. But I'm going to be honest with you. I respect you, gematria guys, because y'all came back in the comments and you admitted that I was right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I'm not going to put the comments up. The video's out there. Maybe I might put the video in the description. So if y'all want to go check that out. But in the comments, y'all gave me a lot of props and actually, hitting it right with that. And sometimes it's just simple. Sometimes the answer's right in your face, and I caught that easy. But the final thing was the fourth thing. I remember it was the quarterback upgrade, it was the wide receiver midseason upgrade, and it was the playing at the same stadium upgrade back then for Super Bowl 56 compared to Super Bowl 55. And the fourth thing was the Bucks beat the Saints after losing twice to them in the regular season. Just like the Rams were about to play the San Francisco in the playoffs, but San Francisco beat them twice. That's why I was very excited. I'm like, look, it says this right here. Look, all these things line up. So look, San Francisco not going to beat them 3 times. How hard is it to beat a team 3 straight times? Yeah, you're gonna lose. And it's the same way. So you guys give me a lot of props. Man, I really appreciate that, man, because it's tough to stick your neck out there. But this is why I look at it for this season, guys. I've always felt that once San Francisco got with And trust me, I'm wearing San Fran now. I won't be wearing none of my San Fran crap tomorrow. I'm wearing a black T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. So it's what the hell was I going to say? At the end of the day, I believe that I've said since Christian McCaffrey brought over, that's what it was. Christian McCaffrey brought over, they brought in Christian McCaffrey. I'm like, well, if this ain't freaking so damn obvious. I'm the type of person where I'm straight up, I can't even say this, I might lose some of y'all, but F it, I'm going to say it anyway. We can't like everybody the same. I don't care for LeBron James, right? And I was like, remember when LeBron James going through this, who he's going to play with team, and I'm a Detroit Piston fan, right? So it's like, they were like, oh, he's Detroit. I said, I don't want LeBron. I don't want the best player on the team that I pull for. So he went to Miami or whatever team he was going to, which was fine by me. And I felt the same way about Christian McCaffrey. I was like, he came and I'm like, oh, well, how the hell are they not going to win now with Christian McCaffrey on the damn team? And I started thinking about it more and more, and I was like, this is some deep diving now. This is deep diving. I was like, wait a minute. Christian McCaffrey, how many great Hall of Fame running backs that won Super Bowl in the Hall of Fame? I thought Larry Zonka, and I thought John Riggins. To me, that's what sticks out. I know people like, oh, all-star this or this guy. Look, these guys aren't running backs, for one. The running back position. So, or Mirahaj, he wasn't great. He was not Hall of Fame anyway. So, I feel like, I believe that at the end of the day, I say by hook or crook, I guarantee you, CMC gonna get a Super Bowl before he leaves. See, especially it's no way. You got too many narratives there. But I said it on my channel, and all my subscribers watching this can attest to it. I've said it countless times, probably over 6, more than damn near 10. Christian McCaffrey gonna get a Super Bowl. At the end of the day, I don't know if it's last year, this year, the year after, the year after this one, it's gonna happen because I feel at the end of the day, John Riggins, Larry Zonka, and Christian McCaffrey, all three of the great stellar white running backs in the NFL, Hall of Famers, gonna have a Super Bowl. It's gonna happen. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I just feel that's the case, point blank. Okay. So many other narratives for San Fran, but let's get into the narratives why I believe what's gonna happen this weekend or not. Now, I'm not sitting up here claiming that I know this is gonna happen. I'm just giving my predictions, okay, and the pros and cons for both. Before I go into that though. Outside of the Christian McCaffrey thing, they also brought in, I look at it as like, you're not going to be able to bring in nothing for San Fran, right? So I'm looking at what teams brought in something, teams that are currently in. Like Baltimore, did they bring in somebody new to help them? No. Our Mark Andrews coming back, but he was already there. Kansas City, did they bring in someone new to help? No. Detroit, did they bring in somebody there to help? No. San Francisco, did they bring in somebody there? The offense is loaded. Healthy, it wasn't nothing wrong with Debo Glass anyway. But did they bring in somebody else to help the defense? Sure they did. They brought that boy over from Washington. You know what I'm saying? So I believe him being able to help out Bosa is going to play a big part, even in this game here coming up or in the Super Bowl. All right? So just remember that. Watch him show out. Watch he have a play. Something he's going to be brought up some type of way and make a play. It's going to be relevant. So it's like, because that's the only way you can help San Francisco is in the defense. So they went out and got the dude that was the most legit thing in Washington. They just happened to break up and dismantle and give up Sweat and old boy, and he come to us. All right, us. My bad. Sorry about that. Come to San Francisco. We'll see about that. So just remember that now. Watch what happens. This football's so rigged. Also, last year, my platform knows this too. I say, watch Jalen Hurts. Watch they make Jalen Hurts be just like Cam Newton. People are like, how? What do you mean? Guess what? He's going to fumble, and it's going to lead to a touchdown. And, man, let me tell you something. I was sitting there here, man, and I was watching with my son. My youngest son's a KC fan. He's like 10. He's 10. And when I saw that happen, I wasn't rooting for KC. I was rooting because I was right. Something so specific. Oh, he fumbled. He's trying to give it to a guy. And they grab him and he kicked it. If you look, kicked it out. So where only defenders get it and they get it and run it in. I told you, just like when Cam Newton fumbled and then for the touchdown. Look, man, it's all a script. It's all a screenplay, everyone. Let's get to it. So, Baltimore, here the thing is. This is my case against Baltimore. I like Baltimore. I ain't got a problem with Baltimore, right? But here's my case against Baltimore. Lamar's going to get the MVP, right? He's going to get the MVP, the league MVP. If he ain't already got it. I don't know. I ain't paying attention to it like that. You know, I got other stuff to do. Hell, I got a whole ass stuff I get done with this video. But they're not going to have him win the MVP and win the Super Bowl and be Super Bowl MVP. They don't do that. That ain't happening. I refuse to believe they're going to let that happen. You telling me they're going to let him beat, let him beat. That's what I said, because it's not in his control. You tell me NFL and the powers be going to let Lamar beat Josh Allen and beat Patrick Mahomes and go on and win the Super Bowl against either San Fran or the darling Detroit? Now, there's always a darling, somebody that overproduces to get into the top four, and that's what Detroit is doing right now. But we'll see. I ain't the one to make the call. I can't guarantee the outcomes, but I do have all the proof in the world, as we see, that it's scripted, and people need to learn that and understand that. So with KC, here's my case for KC. KC is like, I believe they're going to push through. They're going to beat Baltimore because the NFL has done all this work to put in all this Taylor Swift stuff. Why end it now? Why end it at the conference championship game when you could get another huge big game of juice, getting all those Swifties looking, all that merchandise, all that whatever comes with Taylor Swift and freaking Kelsey. I'm like, do you guys really think these people that Kelsey is in a relationship with freaking Swift? Why? Freaking Travis Kelsey like black girls. He showed you that. You don't go for a black girl with big booty to go to Taylor Swift. Just don't do that. You like freaking black chicks. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Just like if Swift, you know what I'm saying, liked a certain thing, that's what she liked. Man, look, stop believing everything, people. People got to stop believing everything. It's all just a show. It's all a show. We know that. Majority of people watching this, some people triggered are going to be like, oh, you don't know what he's talking about. And they're going to have their pennies all in a twist, but that's their problem. So I just think Casey's going to get pushed through because they're going to so-called that up. That's me. That's just me. That's just one. Now for Detroit. Detroit got a wonderful story, but I just think they've overproduced already. They're playing away. People are like, oh, it's such a great story to Detroit. But hell, it was a great story with Cleveland too. You know? So it's like, how far are you going to take it? Detroit got a nice future ahead of them. Got a young core, Amon-Ra, you know, you got Gibbs, you know, you got Montgomery there, you got a great offensive line, you got a very good quarterback in Goff. So now what? You know, what's the purpose? You know, I believe San Francisco's going to go walk over them. That's just what I believe. Outside of the Cinderella story, I don't see much of and them not being in the playoffs for so long. It's like, outside of that, I don't see it. But hey, they could. I ain't the one to make the script up. We'll see what happens. With San Fran, there's way too many storylines. Way too many. You got from the whole John Lynch thingy. You got from you got the Shanahan narrative. Shanahan had paid his dues. He lost the Super Bowl. He lost the Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls. He lost one with Atlanta, and he lost one with San Fran. San Fran in general has lost Super Bowls. They lost with Kaepernick against Baltimore, and they lost with Shanahan. So you can only go so many times and not win it, you know? I mean, they're not Buffalo, you know what I'm saying, or Denver nowadays, you know what I'm saying, from back in the day. So it's a lot of narratives there. You got Brock Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant and actually being legit. You got Christian McCaffrey narrative. I already talked about that. All those years in Carolina and finally getting one, being, you know what I'm saying, being the best running back in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, after Christian McCaffrey gone, it's going to be a long time before we see a great white running back coming in. Let's keep it a stat. But he is off the chain. He is number one. So, what else? You got Kittle, Debo, you got Ayuk. That's a nice little nucleus right there. You got Bosa. Bosa tight work. You know what? I was considered he's, you know, the best, if not one of the best, you know what I'm saying, pass rushers, defensive presences on the line. And it's just so much. You know, you got Warner, All-Pro, Greenlaw's legit. It's so much happening there with the San Francisco organization. It's one of those pristine organizations where it's about time to reward them as well. They just got a new stadium here lately, relatively soon. So guess what? I can kind of see that happening for them as well. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Whatever happens, it ain't because not my fandom, what I want to happen. I don't have control. None of us have control. It's what they want. But don't think they should have sitting up there organically playing football, being like, oh, the best team's going to win any given Sunday. All this crap that they throw it up is just to program my mind to make it seem like it's organic in nature when it's not. All right? So that's all I had, guys. But I believe Baltimore will, I believe Kansas City will outlast Baltimore. And Lamar has nothing to prove. Lamar's done his job. He beat Josh Allen. He's going to get league MVP. And I think they're going to squeeze turn up the rest of that juice out of the KC narrative, and it'll be against San Francisco. So it'll basically be a run back of Super Bowl 57. When San Francisco was leading with 7-8 minutes in the fourth quarter, but somehow the four-man rush didn't get there, and Tyreek Hill caught like a lame duck pass, wobbly duck pass when it was like 3rd and 16 or 4th and 16 or something like that, or whatever it was at the time. And then they just went on to win after that, But San Francisco was up at the time. So I believe it'll be a rematch. Kansas City versus San Francisco. And, San Francisco is still a strong team while Kansas City has been declining because of Kelsey's age and whatnot. So, but at the end of the day, they could be done with the Taylor Swift narrative because it'll be the Super Bowl. You can't go after that, So that's all I got, guys. Thank you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? What do you think about my narratives? What do you think about the season? The craziest things that you've seen, as far as the debauchery of fakery and scriptedness in the NFL, and how long have you actually known that it's actually been rigged? That it's actually been scripted. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can still enjoy something, but understand what it is. Flawless Fantasy Football, where you hear what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Sorry if I was a little bit long-winded. I get passionate and I start just digressing. But thank you very much. Enjoy the playoffs and enjoy the Super Bowl. Be safe out there. Peace.